Hloni, you're at the place where it all started for Caster Semenya, but of course, this court battle with the IAAF very well determines whether this will be the end for her.
Yeah, Kathy, I am standing on the track where she first began her athletics career as a grade 10 or a grade 11 learner before moving on to another track that's further down the road from this one. And as you say, whatever happens at the Court of Arbitration for Sport, whatever decision they come to, which we expect in March, that will determine the course of her career. Because, of course, the IAAF wanted to implement these regulations in November already, and because ASA and Caster Semenya separately contested the regulations, they then moved that to March this year. I think they said that they were expecting the decision on or about the 26th of March. So they know that this decision will affect Caster's career because it will, for example, affect the Diamond League season. It will affect the World Champs that are coming up in August and September. The indoor season has already started, but for now, with the outdoor season expected to start with the Diamond League in May, that will affect what happens to her, and not just that, and not just the World Champs as well, but of course because next year is the Olympics, so that will also be affected as well.
You talk about the Olympics. How much expectation has there been, even I think from the side of Caster Semenya, to be able to compete in those Olympics?
Okay. So I think the bigger thing is for Caster this year, and it's something that she's been answering from around last year when she remained unbeaten, is whether she'll be able to break an 800-meter record that stands, I think, from 1983 from an East European athlete who, again, also had her own doping suspicions. She had her own doping suspicions in 1983, and the fact that that record has stood for so long when other records have been broken. So the questions have been at the moment whether Caster will be able to break that record. We spoke to her, I think it was in 2017 when she came back from the end of her season, and at the time she said she wasn't quite looking at it, but I know that towards last year that it was something that had come up where she said that she was gunning for that record. So we'll see if she'll be able to do that. So I think even before the Olympics next year, this year is about getting closer and closer to that record that stood since 1983.
Hloni, one of the things that you had spoken to us about earlier on in the week was perhaps a slight reservation by South African athletes to be completely, perhaps publicly vocal in their support for Caster Semenya. Is that changing at all now that this trial is underway?
Well, I would say no, because even when we've been here, we've spoken to people who were very hesitant to speak on camera. We spoke to her grandmother, we spoke to her coach as well, her former coach, and there's a sense that they, I think in the past, I think so much damage was done in the past after the Berlin World Champs in 2009 that people are very hesitant about speaking to the media. They've questioned our motives. We've had to be very clear why we're here. We just wanted to find out about her childhood. So people are very, very hesitant to speak. But when we tried to get athletes as well to comment on this matter, it's such a sensitive issue that people don't want to speak. They don't want to speak on her behalf as well. And that's also what we're getting here as well, that people are saying, we understand that you want to talk and we've got great stories to tell about her, but we also don't want to speak for her because obviously she can speak for herself, and they also want to have that permission where she's speaking and they can see that, oh, it's okay for them to also speak as well. So there's definitely that wall of protection, and I suppose over the years, over the 10 years that the IAAF has been battling this on and off, that it's something that they've learned to pick up and to have on as a protective measure for her.
Yeah, certainly you must have put a dent even in some of their hopes too. And in terms of young people out there, Hloni, what do they have to say about Caster?
Okay. Well, because we've come at a time when young children are at school, so that was a bit more difficult to work around. But we spoke to a lady who knew her from when they were in school together, and there's quite a few actually who do know her from school. So they've just been talking about the kind of person that she was and how she grew up playing sport, and then she ended up in athletics, and she was just a quiet person. Even though I suppose they were a bit surprised that she ended up where she is, but they knew that she was a star in the making because of the talent that she had. That's something that her coach had said earlier, that he knew that of all the athletes that he had trained, that she was the special one that would probably make it up abroad.
All right, Hloli, let's leave it there for now. Hloli Mthimkhulu is out in Moleji in Limpopo.